2 years, 50 episodes. Thank you so much for being one of our longtime listeners. If you want to take a more active role in supporting the show, you can always, of course, write in. We love to get fan mail from you. We love to answer your questions. Or you can head over to our Patreon, patreon.com/shadesansketch. You can support the show for as little as $1, and we're giving you all kinds of goodies, exclusive content, exclusive episodes, episode art. It's all there for you. On to this week's episode.
Oh, hello. I'm Sketch.
And I'm Shades.
And this is
Geeking Out with Shades and Sketch.
Guys, welcome back, longtime listeners. Happy to have you here in the GoCo with us.
Happy to be here, Sketch.
And here this week, as you know, guys, every single week we bring you with us in our GoCo to a different corner of the Geeking Out multiverse. Shades, where are we this week?
Oh, well, this week, Sketch, we're hanging out at Promepolis Pizza in beautiful Promepolis City.
Sharing a couple slices.
Yeah.
Enjoying this weather.
It's delicious.
It's really, really good. A little hot.
Well, yeah, just a little.
But not burned. I wouldn't say burned.
No. It's perfect consistency.
Wood fire oven, toasted, roasted.
Just how I like it.
Just how I like it. So, guys, if we are munching on some za again, we've munched on za before, haven't we?
Yeah.
In the sewers.
In the sewers, yeah.
This is better.
Much
better than the sewers.
Much better than the sewers are.
But if we're in Promepolis Pizza, that must mean we are talking about Promare. What is Promare, you might ask, ladies and gentlemen? We're going to get into it. But before we do get into it, Shades, do we have a theme song this week?
I believe we do, Sketch.
All right.
The time to hesitate is through. No time to wallow in the mire. Try now, we can only lose. And our love become a funeral pyre. Come on, baby, light my fire.
Woo! I love it. It fits.
Yeah.
Very nicely. It made great audio. I was really just...
Oh, yeah.
I was just...
Sketch was rocking out.
Yeah, really was.
Hey, Sketch, do you think they have any openings over at Burning Crusade?
I'm going to say no, but there is a help wanted sign here at the pizza place. There seems to be an opening.
Fair enough.
Yeah. So if you need a little summer job for you. So, guys, we are talking Promare, which is the latest offering from Studio Trigger, a very famous and groundbreaking animation studio in Japan.
Yes.
And their most recent work, Promare, debuted in America in September, which we saw in person.
We fired up the old GoCo and head over to a theater.
To the premiere.
To the premiere.
To the premiere of Promare, the Promare premiere.
We did.
In September, a month ago, based on when this episode will come out. And it's totally worth talking about.
Oh, yeah.
It is totally worth geeking out over.
This was a good time, Sketch.
This was a good time. This was a good geeking out time. A good old geeking out time. A go-go. Trademarked.
Copyright.
Yeah, got it. So let's just get right into this. Should we start history?
Sure.
Okay. Now, Shades typically does history.
Yes.
But he is...
I'm going to hand it off
to
you, Sketch, in this instance.
So, guys, I'm sorry. This won't have the same caliber. But, okay, so before we talk about Promare, the movie's history, because it's a limited movie, limited history on that. It's important to talk about the history of the studio.
That seems fair.
Okay.
Seems like a good place to start.
And you can't talk about the studio without talking about the founder of the studio and his kind of journey through animation and the world of anime. Because I'm going to list some of his projects, and I bet you've heard of them. Okay?
Okay.
So we are going to start with...
Have I heard of them?
Yeah. Yeah, you've definitely heard of at least some of them. And I'll stop throughout my history to see if you recognize any of these.
Sure.
Right? So when you're talking Studio Trigger, you're automatically talking about Hiroyuki Imaishi. And
Okay.
pretty sure I got that pronunciation right. Okay. And he began his animation career at Gainax in 1995 as a key animator on Neon Genesis Evangelion. Okay.
Okay.
So, guys, if you haven't seen Evangelion, that in many ways, as much as people will look back on Sailor Moon and Dragon Ball,
Right.
Evangelion is really what brought like deep anime into to American audiences.
Sure. I'll agree with that.
Less so like animation for children to ingest after school, and
Yes.
more so for teens and young adults. A little heavier, right?
I have fond memories of Toonami
Mhm.
putting Evangelion into the programming rotation and then promptly having
They would have to pull that
it
pretty quick.
pretty quick.
It takes a turn.
Good on them. They kept trying, but
Yeah.
they kept having to pull it.
Yeah. Well, after Eva, he worked in many capacities for the studio, including FLCL.
Yes. That is quite possibly, if not the one of my favorite animes of all time.
That was a weird way to. That's like a shirt. That is quite possibly one of, maybe the best anime.
I mean, it's really a toss up between that and Cowboy Bebop.
Yeah,
for me.
It's really good. He worked in just a couple episodes, so he wasn't in the whole series on that. And it's a short series, but he was like one or two of them.
I think I can tell which ones he did just by the tone and
and the style, the style. Yeah, he has a very definitive animation style,
definitely.
Which we're definitely going to talk about with this movie. But after that, he became his series director debut was a little show called Tangatopa Gurren Lagann, which was huge for the studio in 2007. It ended up winning the Excellence Prize at the 2007 Japan Media Arts Festival, as well as Best Television Production and Best Character Design for the Tokyo International Anime Fair. So a big award-winning anime series.
It doesn't seem like Gurren Lagann came out
over 10 years ago. Yeah. Isn't it crazy?
That is insane. I recently rewatched it. It holds up so well.
It really does. I mean, Gurren Lagann is, if it's not my top, it's definitely in my top 5.
Yeah.
It's an amazing show. And in so many ways, this movie Promare is like a direct sequel.
It
almost.
Could
style wise. Not story.
Promepolis.
Yeah.
It could be the city that
it totally
Simone went on to found.
Yeah. Oh yeah, easily.
Yeah.
And the mech suits.
Yes.
And the kind of like this notion of making matter out of seemingly nothing.
Yes.
And then the color palettes and the ridiculous animation. Like it's a direct descendant of Gurren Lagann. But before he started Trigger, he also directed another series from Gainax. This one you might not have heard of, Panty and Stocking with Garter Belt. Did you ever hear that?
You told me about it. And Sam Jackson voiced one of the characters?
I don't know if he did in the dub, because I only watched the sub, but it was definitely like a spoof farce show.
Yeah.
It was like the closest thing I've seen in anime to South Park.
Gotcha.
Whereas like the animation was really crude, but the action was solid, as you'd expect from him.
I remember you kept putting it in front of me, like, you got to watch this. You got to watch this.
It was really funny.
And I tried a number of times, and I only ever really got into the show when they in a fight sequence when the animation got markedly better.
Yeah, because then it would turn into like what you would classically think of with anime.
Correct.
And otherwise it was very crude.
It was
animation.
an even more crude version of like Teen Titans
Go. Yeah, I was about to say like Teen Titans Go, but not as
less
refined.
Sophisticated.
On purpose, purposefully made that way. But he then branched off and co-founded Studio Trigger with his coworker Masahiko Otsuko in 2011. And in 2013, Studio Trigger released a short film called Little Witch Academia, which I have not seen.
Okay.
But I've heard very good things
about it as well.
And I did not know that was a Studio Trigger production.
Nor did I.
And its first original anime TV series was Kill la Kill, which I did watch. Kill la
I
Kill.
also watched Kill la Kill.
I really liked Kill la Kill.
There's a sequel out already, right?
To Kill la Kill?
Oh, maybe I'm thinking of Kite.
You might be thinking of Kite.
Okay.
Kill la Kill, I
watch Kill la
don't know
Kill.
if it has a sequel. I really liked Kill la Kill. Same thing.
Yeah.
Really in this vein of like Gurren Lagann.
Meets FLCL.
It meets FLCL. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. And then over the years, the studio has released other series and shorts, including Inferno Cop, which is another like just hilarious farce of Darling in the Franxx, which I've talked about a little bit on this.
I'm not familiar with that.
It was great, and then it ended horribly.
Downer.
Oh, it was very Game of Thrones in that they had such
more sketch. Say no more.
Great things going, and then I don't know, the end fell off.
For all of geek media now, we'll be able to pull to Game of Thrones.
Yeah, that Game of Thrones is the new jumping
the shark or nuking the fridge.
Yeah, it's when you just had something great and you ended
Game of Thrones
horribly, and that was Darling in the Franxx,
which
unfortunately
somehow won the Emmy.
Yeah, but the two directors did not. They were up in 2 categories, right? And they did,
correct.
They
both
not.
Lost.
Yeah,
it's like, well, we got to give them something
fitting.
Yeah,
Peter Dinklage won.
Peter Dinklage did win.
Yeah, I thought so.
Very fitting.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. And then they ended up making a series based on their Little Witch Academia short film, and that series is on Netflix. And in preparation for this episode of Promare,
did you watch?
I watched a couple episodes, and it's interesting. It's like whimsical. It's very Harry Potter-esque. Like it's basically like a ripoff of Harry Potter if it were in the
Harry
anime
Potter
realm.
Was also a ripoff of The Worst Witch.
Okay,
so this seems like we've come around to art imitating life, imitating art.
Yeah,
imitating life, imitating art.
And I've only watched a couple episodes, but it's certainly geared to a younger audience than the rest of his works.
I watched an episode of it, and I could
definitely seeing it be like for like young girls getting into anime. You know, like a new Sailor Moon.
Sure.
You know,
yeah.
I see it fit in that vein. But bringing it back to Promare, the movie was first announced in 2017, but it wasn't revealed to be a feature-length film until 2018. The film, of course, was directed by Hiroyuki Imaishi and written by Kazuki Nakashima, who had previously worked with him on both Gurren Lagann and Kill la Kill. So it kind of makes sense that he brought him in to write his big feature
movie
film.
masterpiece.
Yes, movie masterpiece. And after 4 years of production, Promare was released in Japan on May 24th.
I'm sorry, did you say 4 years?
4 years of production. Mm-hmm. And it was released on May 24th, 2019. Then it was dubbed for North American release on September 20th of the same year.
And we should say we watched the dub.
We did watch the dub version,
which we know is controversial.
You've heard me talk about this before. I think when we did Full Metal Alchemist, we talked the dub versus sub debate. 4 of us went.
Yes.
You, me, and then you and me from an alternate timeline.
Yes.
And you know, everyone but me.
We see them so infrequently these days. It was nice to reconnect.
Yes, we can't touch them.
Yeah,
because then everything will implode.
Yeah,
obviously.
But
we can touch each other.
Yeah,
so that works out nicely.
Yes,
like I can't touch the sketch, but I can touch the shades.
Correct.
Which works out because you don't let me touch you.
It's I don't like
the way it works.
Yeah,
it's the way it works.
It works on so many levels.
So 3 of the 4 of us are big into dubs. Much prefer dubs to subs. And I was fine with it for this movie because I was expecting a very action-packed movie, and I just cannot read subtitles when there's that much action going on. So I was like totally fine with dubs for this one. And I don't regret it. The dubs were great.
No, they were
they're well done. I mean, we're at the point now, and I've said it before, we're at the point where dubbing is just high quality.
Dubbing used to be god awful.
Yeah, when I started watching anime, the dubbing was not great.
Not good.
But you know what? Even when you look at American cartoons from that
dubbing was not
good.
Yeah.
Voice acting was not seen as what it is now.
Yep.
You know. So we saw it dubbed. Had a great time.
Yeah.
And that's That's
I
Promare.
laughed out loud
It was funny.
so much through this movie. I thought I was trying to hold it in because I thought I was being like disruptive to the movie, but it was just so goddamn funny. And the more I laughed, the more other people around me started laughing.
Yeah, because I was gonna say I felt like the theater itself was having a good time.
It started. I was like, I couldn't hold it in any longer. It was just so outlandish at times.
It's outrageous.
Yeah.
It's just and I mean that's to be expected from a Studio Trigger piece. What I love is that one of our friends that we went with had no idea what Studio Trigger was or whatever, and thought we were seeing like a slice of life telling from the perspective of a firefighter, and that's like that could be
my goodness.
That could be like the opening sentence of a synopsis, but then with like so many clarifying sentences afterwards.
Oh my god, that is going to be the subtitle for this episode when I put it in.
The slice of life
telling of a firefighter's tale.
Now would be a good time to do synopsis.
Yeah.
Of the movie itself.
Yes.
Okay, once again, guys, this is me again. I'm gonna take this synopsis. And I'm gonna do my best to wet your whistle if you haven't seen it, but not give away a lot of the big twists. A lot of the big twists and turns. Okay? So, Promare. 30 years ago, the Earth suffered massive devastation when spontaneous human combustion suddenly ignited on a massive scale, wreaking havoc as it burned across the world, plunging mankind into a period of fear and chaos. Now, society has more or less recovered and has developed in a way to move forward while still defending against the ever-present threat of the pyrokinetic individuals that still flare up in the wake of the Great Burning. They're called the Burnish. Our hero Gallo is a member of Burning Rescue, the emergency response unit of the great city of Promepolis. With his teammates and their firefighting mechs, Gallo helps fight back the fires of the Burnish while protecting the innocents from their flames. However...
And we should say, while shirtless.
While shirtless. I mean, in one of the fights, he's shirtless, but then he ends up shirtless a lot of times, too.
Yes.
Fire's hot.
Fire is very hot.
Fire is hot. Guys, if you
hot.
were thinking there's going to be fan service in this movie because it's anime, there is, but equal bias for both genders.
Equal bias.
Yeah.
Yep. Equal bias fan service.
So the movie kind of takes that premise, and then while saving people from the most recent Burnish attack, Gallo faces off against he faces off against and eventually captures the Burnish leader, Leo. Leo is taken into custody and the day is saved, but Gallo begins to question his beliefs soon after when an innocent man is arrested for simply being a Burnish. No crime, no terrorism, just being a Burnish.
Oh, is that why there's an opening at the pizzeria?
Is that why the wall is missing at the pizzeria? Is that why our pizza hasn't come yet?
What is happening at this restaurant?
So through Gallo's crisis and Leo's predicament, we begin to see that the issues at hand are not as black and white as we were led to believe. The Burnished are more of an outcast group than a terrorist organization, and their existence is merely a symptom of a much bigger problem with the world at large. Only through working together do Gallo and Leo have any chance at overcoming and toppling the odds against them and save the world from a fiery fate. Promare.
Which, spoilers, is also kind of the plot of Gurren Lagann.
Sure. Yeah. I mean,
replace burning with drills and fire with aliens. And it's basically
that happens a lot in these, and even Kill la Kill. The threat that you are faced with at the beginning of the series is just a small component of the threat
the
that
larger,
is really going to destroy the world. And in Gurren Lagann, it was
drills.
Drills were definitely their thing. I mean, Gurren Lagann had drills. Kill la Kill had clothing or fabric.
Yep.
And this movie had fire, obviously. But those were more like the tools to tell the story. Those were the kind of the visuals.
According to the poor translation in the Q&A at the end of the movie that we watched, they were the themes.
The themes. Obviously mistranslation there.
Obviously.
Theme, I would call it a
device.
Yeah, a device to kind of launch the plot forward.
Man, that was amazing, though. We had a good time over that.
Oh, yeah. We had a good time over that. And I loved... Actually, one of my raves is going to get into one of the things I talked about. So
Sure.
I'll save that. So Promare, I don't know if it's going to have another release in America. I heard it was going to have a wider release than the premiere that was just in select theaters, but I haven't found any information on that. Like I
know that I don't think it's happened yet. They did the premiere that we went to.
Mhm.
That was the dub.
Mhm.
They also did a showing.
They
that
did a
was
showing of the
subbed.
subtitled one. It was the same week.
It was the
So
same
we
week.
went
Okay.
on Tuesday, and the sub was on a Thursday.
Gotcha.
The next
Gotcha.
Thursday.
Okay, so that already happened.
That already happened.
Gotcha.
Yes. But I highly, you guys, get out there and find it. Watch it.
It's fantastic.
It's totally worth it. It's totally worth it. Shades,
Should we do some scores?
do you have the all-important internet scores for
I'm
Promare?
glad you asked.
Wait. I guess all-important internet scores is kind of like a
It is kind of like a big
all-important internet scores! Love it.
Yeah, there we go. IMDb gives it a 7.2.
Wow. I am, color me shocked.
Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah.
93%.
That just increases my confusion.
Yeah.
That I am, okay.
Yeah.
Google reviews? We got some Google reviewers?
Google reviewers. 95%
Oh,
of
yeah.
Google reviewers loved this movie, and I gave it a 90.
Awesome.
I so enjoyed this movie.
Yeah.
It left me a little confused at the end.
Oh, sure.
But it was a great time.
Slice of life.
It's anime. Like if you are walking into an anime thinking that what you see is what you're going to get, you're misleading yourself.
You're going to have a bad time.
Yeah. So I mean, there's be prepared for the premise to be pulled out from under you,
Mhm.
and whatever you're working on, whatever you're viewing,
And be prepared to get ridiculous.
Yeah.
Be prepared to immerse yourself in a world that does not follow the same rules as your own.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And I think that's pretty fair to say for most
Anime.
Except for this little slice of life gem that we have here. My favorite part was just watching Gallo's morning routine, how he would make his hash browns and juice his oranges and just sit in front of the window, cup of coffee, paper.
Did we watch the same movie?
I think we did.
I think so.
I think we did.
Skitching the ears of his little Dalmatian.
There was no Dalmatian. There was a mouse.
There was a mouse.
Yeah. The mouse had an apt name. Do you remember what it was? I'm forgetting what it was.
I do not, and I was very surprised that they did not have a fire pole.
Yeah, they didn't have a
one
fire
of my.
pole.
It was one of my rants.
Yeah.
Like, if you want me to believe that this is a society based around fire, and they have like this, like fire, like burning crusade headquarters, and it doesn't have a fire pole, I'm out.
Yeah.
I'm out. Major flaw in your world building.
By the way, Burning Rescue.
What did I say?
Burning Crusade, which is the second expansion to World of Warcraft. First expansion of World of Warcraft.
Burning
I know
Rescue.
you got World of Warcraft on the brain.
I do. We've been watching a lot of it for
oh, nice. Have you really been?
Research. We've been watching a lot of the cutscenes for research.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, can't talk about it.
I heard
had to sign an NDA.
I heard there is a new cinematic that just came out that's very big and very important.
Yes.
I still have not returned to the game.
Yeah.
However, I am planning to this autumn to just see what's
pop
going on.
back in and see what's happening.
Play Classic, because Classic came out.
Yeah.
So I'm planning to do that. But
yep. And
yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll talk more about that in a later episode.
That'd be sweet.
Yeah.
I'll definitely have to weigh in on if it's
sure. If you're going to sign back up permanently.
Me going back. Yeah. I bringing it back around. I gave Promare a 98%. Wow. I fucking loved it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool, man.
I mean, there are it's tough because especially American audiences that don't watch anime like to just lump all anime in as one big category, right? And there are so many types of anime, and this is my type of anime. Like this
is your type of anime. This is your wheelhouse.
Crazy action set pieces, and just like don't think too hard. Get enough of a notion of what's going on, and then just enjoy the visual feast. Like that's this movie and this animation studio.
Yeah, I initially gave it a 95, but I had to knock it down a little bit.
No pole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No pole.
Yeah.
That
You
was
love a pole.
I do love a fire pole.
Mm-hmm.
I do.
I mean, that's the number one reason why you love Ghostbusters.
You know,
Fire
like
pole.
when I was a kid, that was the number one reason why I loved Ghostbusters. And I was very fortunate at a young age. Our fire department still had a fire pole, and I was on a baseball team with the fire chief. And like insurance liabilities aside, I got to live out my Ghostbuster dream of going down the fire pole.
I just had a really funny image in my mind of young shades.
Yes.
Playing T-ball? Is that what you said? T-ball? Baseball?
Little League.
Little League.
Yeah, Little League.
With a grown-ass man who is the fire chief of
No,
his town.
his kid was on my team.
His kid was on your team.
His kid was on my team.
Okay, that makes more sense then.
Yeah. The fire chief's son was on my team.
I just thought like people let him sign up because like you don't mess with him. You don't mess with the fire chief.
Fucking burn your house down.
Yeah, or at least turn the other way.
Yeah.
That's why they were called firemen.
Yes.
They used to just set fires.
Yes.
Yeah, there's a little fact for you.
Yeah.
I would love it if moving forward you always gave movies an individual raver rant based on if there's a fire pole in the movie or TV series.
I can do that.
Or whatever. Had to dock a point.
No
fire pole.
Done.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. My fire station growing up.
Shades Fireball Fantasy Adventure.
That's a different podcast altogether.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Tune in
for mature audiences.
Wednesdays. Fifth Wednesday of every month.
Yeah, you guys know how you have to like tune into podcasts on a specific day? Like gather the family, sit around the old podcast device,
you do.
Dial it in.
It's the fifth Wednesday of every month.
Tune Wednesday of every month.
One's dropping soon.
We're getting way off topic, but kind of on topic.
Kind of.
I spent
Somehow
some time.
It works.
I spent some time in my local fire station because my great grandfather, who I had the privilege of knowing in my life, was the fire chief in our town.
Sketch, you always gotta like one up me over here.
But here's the thing:
no fire pole.
We didn't have a pole because it was a 1-story firehouse.
Sad.
That was it.
You missed out.
Yeah, I did.
You really missed out.
It wasn't until much, much later where I experienced the joy of poles in my life.
I think we're talking about two very different experiences.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Same device, though.
More
different
or less.
outcome.
Different devices.
Yeah.
Different devices.
Let's get right into...
What the fuck are we talking about?
I think we're talking about Promare.
Right, yes.
Promare!
Oh, we did the scores.
Yeah.
We gotta talk money.
Oh, gotta bring in that sweet... yen this time.
Yes.
I was going to say dollars.
So we talked about this a little bit because I needed some help with conversion.
Yeah.
Promare cost 1.2 billion yen to produce. That is roughly $11.1 million.
Yeah. I knew the conversion because I request all of my Geeking Out paychecks in yen.
In yen, yes.
Yep.
I thought it was gold doubloons.
I recently had a run-in with a pirate.
Yeesh.
Yeah. And I've had to...
Dicey.
Yeah. Start over from scratch. And it just makes me feel better when I have so many yens.
You've gotten out of the doubloon market.
I've gotten out of the doubloon market. This isn't... all right, guys, I know I'm
highly volatile.
I'm preaching the choir. I know it's all over these economic shows that you watch. This is not the doubloon market right now. We're not in a doubloon market.
Counting bullion with Sketch.
You know how there's a bull market? This is not the Kraken market.
This is not the Kraken market.
Of old.
Sketch, how much do you think the movie made in its limited release?
Oh boy, that's a tough one.
Cost $11.1 million.
I don't even know like where it was released.
It was released globally.
Yeah, but like how much a limited release is compared to a full release. It's not important.
Yeah. I'm curious.
'Cause I'm going to be wrong anyway.
Maybe we'll put it in the midstream.
So let's take a stab at it and say $71 million. US dollars.
Sketch, that's a great guess, but it's much lower.
Oh, that's a bummer.
It made $12.3 million.
And that's global?
That's global.
From a very limited one-day release.
Very limited one-day release.
And then I guess, but Japan's in on that too.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it broke even basically.
Sure.
In its limited release.
Yeah.
I'm sure DVD sales and
for sure.
I'm sure there'll be some kind of merchandising around this.
Theater
video
release
game
is certainly not where animation studios make their money. A lot of times it's where they make their feathers for their caps, shall we say, where they bolster their resumes.
I believe in order to receive awards, you still need to release theatrically.
Yeah. Interesting.
As some kind of physical release. So, to my knowledge, Trigger has not done a movie release.
No, this is their very first.
So
Promare
I
is
would
their
imagine
premiere.
it was put in theaters to try and win some kind of award.
Maybe, yeah. And it's certainly like an achievement for an animation studio, especially a Japanese animation studio.
And I'm thinking about what's come out animation wise in 2019. It's entirely possible it could win something.
Yeah,
it's been a light animation year.
Yeah,
like I think the big thing that came out this year was Secret Life of Pets 2.
When was Spider-Man?
Last year.
Okay,
it won everything.
Yeah. Okay, so that's good. That's out of the running. For this year. Abominable came out.
Didn't see it.
I didn't either.
I know another Norm of the North came out on Netflix.
What's Norm of the North?
He's a polar bear.
Oh,
it's fun.
Is it a fun one?
It's fun.
Is it like a kid one or is it like an all ages one?
Oh, it's like in between.
Okay, like a teenage one.
Sure.
Yeah, that would be in between a kid and an all age.
I was saying there's something. It's kind of like
there's something for everybody.
What's the other one with the bear? Open season. It's kind of like an open season.
There's so many ones with bears. Bears are a very popular.
We'll have a good bear tale
theme. Yeah. We'd call it a theme.
A theme in anime.
It's a great theme for Western animation. Bears.
Should we get right into it?
Yeah, let's get right into it. We want to start with rants?
Sure.
Let's start with some outrageously rambunctious rants.
That was good.
Thanks.
Do you want to go first?
Sure. I can go first. Yeah. I'll go first.
I only have 2 rants.
Okay. Oh, wait. We're starting with rants?
Is that what you said? You wanted to start with rants?
No, I want to start with raves. I take it back. I want to start with raves.
We just did the giant rant thing.
Okay, I'll do rants.
Sure.
Let's do rants. Let's talk about. I'll skip that one because I know it's yours. I know we've talked a little bit off mic, and
we do that occasionally,
every once in a while.
Every once in a while.
So I will talk about the exposition in this movie. That there is like so much exposition, and it's like,
oh my god,
it's like super like generic anime in that like it's like 30 years ago. Although we did get a clip of like everything that happened 30 years ago. But then like when they're talking to the doctor for the first time,
I was gonna say,
and when they're talking to the governor,
we get a whole like character who died off screen.
Yeah.
Who then we get his story of his death just to give us exposition of what's really going on in this world.
Yeah, and why the governor, spoiler alerts, is evil.
And you almost feel like, oh shit, we haven't explained why this is all happening yet. And so like this was there. We'll just put in like a MS-DOS bit matrix computer face. He'll do it.
There was so much exposition in this.
He really looked like a Homestar Runner, like
sure. Yeah.
Like when Strong Bad animates himself into a computer game.
Yeah.
Like level of
he reminded me of Gemini in Digimon. I think that was his name. Gemini. He was like an old mentor-esque character who would show up from time to time to the Digidestin and explain things for them. It's fine. He wasn't a major character. Yeah. He wasn't in a lot, but I mean, he's major lore-wise, but he's not major.
Man, I watched the shit out of Digimon. I just don't remember him.
Yeah, he shows up with the first Digidestin, I think that's anyway. This isn't the Digimon episode. Here's the thing, though. I gave this movie a 98, right? And I only have 2 rants, so this rant only accounts for 1% because it for the most part. The sin of the tremendous exposition for me was absolved by the fact that Gallo would tune them out and he would fall asleep. Like the movie, like got it. The movie was like, this is a lot. And you know what? If you don't want to pay attention, it's fine.
You don't have to.
Our hero isn't paying attention. Like your choice if you want to pay attention or not.
Is there information that could help him like defeat the villain and triumph over the situation more effectively? Sure. Maybe. Is he going to be able to do it without paying attention?
Absolutely. Yeah. He just needs manliness. And the burning soul of a firefighter.
And, being shirtless.
And being shirtless. Yep. Very important. He got shirtless a couple times, and Leo got shirtless at the end, too. Yes. But his shirt burned off. That made sense.
Burned off. Yes.
Gallo, yeah, when we first meet Gallo, he's shirtless.
Yes.
I really feel like he's shirtless at the beginning just to nail home his Kamina look.
Kamina look, yeah.
Because he is, guys,
wait, we
didn't give spoilers. Spoilers for anything
Spoilers
Studio
for
Trigger.
anything Studio Trigger.
Yeah, that
Kamina dies in the first 5 episodes.
in Gurren Lagann, and
is it the first 5? Is it the 5th episode he dies?
It's somewhere. It's somewhere like within the first
quick.
7. Yes,
Yeah.
Yes, it is. One of my favorite parts.
I remember when we were still like, wow, how's this show going to go on after this?
Yeah.
He was like the show.
He was Ned Stark before Ned Stark, except Ned Stark existed in book before.
Yeah.
Okay,
sure.
but anyway. Without the shirt, he kind of has like blue tattoos. He's got that crazy big blue hair.
He's missing a cape and sunglasses, and he's Kamina.
And I'm in it. I dig it. I dig it because it was awesome. We'll get there. We'll get there with a rave.
I'll.
You want to piggyback?
Aren't we ranting?
Yeah, we're ranting.
Oh yeah.
I said I'll get there later with a rave.
Yeah. I'll piggyback off of that. Because I have a Gallo rant.
Okay.
In that he is simply Kamina. All of his motivations are Kamina.
Yeah.
He is his burning manliness, his shirtlessness, the look, his motivations, and essentially his backstory are all just Kamina.
Yeah.
And had he lived.
Yeah.
And he's a 2-dimensional character.
It really is. It had to have been pitched as, all right, imagine if Kamina didn't die.
Right.
And was a firefighter.
Right.
Which I totally see. I totally see that. I just don't see it as a rant. Like, for me, it's not a rant. But I totally see why it could be. Sure. And why it is for you.
And
so I respect your rant.
I just think they needed to flesh out that character more so that you can start there and it's fun.
Yeah.
But he never grows into anything more. He's a shirtless, burning manly firefighter.
Yeah.
At the beginning of the movie.
In a lot of ways, he's a man-child.
Yes.
Playing with his toys.
He is a man-child playing with his toys at the beginning of the movie and at the end of the movie.
I mean, his journey is one of facing...
don't meet your heroes.
Don't meet your heroes, sure. Yeah. And similarly, don't meet your villains because... well, you should meet your villains because he understood them better. So he certainly had a growth of understanding in this movie, but that's it. I agree. He didn't have much of a backstory. The backstory we got of his was really the governor's backstory.
It was the governor's backstory.
Which I liked that the governor was the one that killed his family.
I agree. What a twist.
One of the songs, because I've been listening to the soundtrack on repeat. Because
I've been doing that.
I've been really enjoying it. But one of the songs, one of the main songs...
I've been listening to the soundtrack on repeat 24 hours a day since we saw the movie.
Yeah. It's not on iTunes yet, so I can't get it. I keep having to play it through YouTube, but that's fine. Whatever.
That's amazing. I love it.
The main theme has like some English in it, and one of the things they talk about is
Kamina.
Well, no, not Kamina, but like taking on the role, like carrying on the work of his grandfather. Which I'm like, that was not in the movie at all.
Who's his grandfather?
Was his
grandfather a member of Burning Rescue?
Maybe. But Burning Rescue's only been around for 30 years because people been combusting only for 30
years.
But maybe he was just a firefighter. But that was never that if that was ever part of the script, it's
the prequel.
It was scrapped.
Don't worry, we're gonna get it.
Hey, I'd watch the shit out of a prequel. You can't do a sequel to this.
What if it's just his Gallo's grandfather slice of life?
I'm on board. I'm on board. And he meets his grandson at the very end, and it's like everything is like super realistic anime, but like he meets his grandson at the end, and his grandson just looks like Gallo,
and just has
way off.
Blue hair.
Yeah,
obnoxious blue hair, and is a cartoon character.
You know what's funny is, also a sequel to this would also be just a slice of life of a firefighter.
True.
Because spoiler alert, we beat the burnish.
There are no more burnish.
Yeah.
No more burning rescue.
Yeah. So
regular old
just
firefighters.
Slice of life, baby. All right.
Do you have another rant?
I do. I only have one other,
there.
but I'll take it. When I'm talking about the rescue squad, I loved the rescue squad.
I also love this. We have the same.
Yeah. So I mean, jump in on me, but I love the Rescue Squad. This is, the team that Gallo's a part of. Listen, I'm not going to be able to rant about them without throwing in some of my raves about them. So I love the fact that in that first big fight scene where we're kind of introduced to both the Rescue Squad and the Burnish, like the big ending move is Gallo being like, "You forgot something. I'm part of a team."
Part of a team.
I loved that. Like, because
Yes.
you were totally expecting him to be like this, just like the lone wolf, like,
Right.
Screw the
Soul of the
team.
burning firefighter!
Yeah, I got this.
Right.
But he was just like keeping him busy until the team could get to him.
Right.
Loved it. Anyway.
It's just a loud distraction. That was
a loud
his role.
distraction. He's like a big old firework.
Yep.
I like how one of his teammates literally just like shoots him out of his cannon.
Yes.
Like, he's like a bullet, basically.
Yes.
Anyway, this is a rant. I got to get back to ranting. Well, then my rant will make sense. I wanted more.
Yes. And that is exactly, we learn about there's too many characters in this movie that we learn nothing about. Why introduce them all? And they're great characters.
They're such cool characters.
They're such great characters.
Yep.
For the life of me, I don't even know their names.
I love the captain. I forget the captain.
The captain was great. Lucia, the scientist, was great.
Yeah, she was awesome.
Voiced by
someone cool.
Kari Walgren, who voices Haruko and FLCL.
And just a lot of things too.
So many things. And voiced by great people.
Yeah,
great actors. And the characters were great. They had big hero entrances.
Yep.
We do this whole ensemble, and then they're gone for 90% of the movie.
Yeah,
and we go off and follow other characters who we've learned nothing about.
I would say this is Studio Trigger definitely showing that this is their first film, because it was set up in the beginning very much as a series. Like the cast of characters was introduced the way it was so big,
right?
That you need a series to take on these characters.
I had a different takeaway.
Okay.
You said, and interesting that you said it's in 4 years in development.
Yeah.
I think they decided to make it more timely and current, and it's not really a rant, but
observation.
Sure. Too much real world in my fake world.
A lot of real world
with the Burnish and the treatment of them.
Yeah.
And the Promepolis.
Yep.
Is kind of a facade. It's not the great society and city that everyone believes it to be. I kind of felt like it was more of a.
It is for a select few.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah,
yes.
Yeah.
I saw it more as too much. Hey, we need to be responsible and comment on the state of the world. Is what I saw it as. Oh, this started happening while this was in production, and they made a hard right.
It's very possible. I see it now.
The look of the governor was pretty apropos.
You can imagine
for the story.
If you haven't seen it, you can imagine many things, but you can imagine the Homelander on Boys.
Yes,
you could he would be a perfect anime version of the Homelander.
Yes,
and other caricatures in life that we know of, but I almost get the feeling like this idea started as a series, and then they were greenlit to be a movie. And they're like, okay,
yep,
but we got all these awesome character designs, so we should use them.
We should use them,
and I'm glad they did, because
they're great characters.
I loved them.
I mean, I would not rule out that this becomes a series at some point.
Like I said, I would watch the shit out of even if it was just a mini series, a 6-episode FLCL length, just leading up to the events of Promare.
It can be a prequel. It can take place during. We can follow
or immediately. During. I would totally do during while Gallo and Leo are doing their thing. Let's just follow
the burning rescue
yeah,
team.
I would do that.
They still had to do their job while they were gone. It seems like the movie takes place over the course of maybe 2 weeks.
Yeah, if that. Yeah, definitely.
A week or 2 weeks.
Yeah. Oh, it's a short time frame in this movie.
But there's definitely avenues to be explored.
Absolutely, there are. You could even do it immediately following the events of the movie.
Oh, sure.
You're gonna need burning rescue to rescue a lot of people.
Yes, it's like a threat terror level event.
Oh, sure.
Attack on a city.
It's and there's a point where what was the what was the country's name that they picked up and dropped in Ultron? Whatever that place was.
Shit.
I almost said Wakanda, but I know it's not. Guys, calm down. I know it's not Wakanda. Krovak. There was some Accords.
Yes.
Long-time listeners, feel free to write in on that one. But
how much did that movie matter to the overall of the MCU? Very little.
It brought Wanda and Vision in, and I think that's it.
Yep.
I completely derailed myself. What was I going to say? Oh, yeah. Basically, a city fell on top of a city.
Sokovia.
Sokovia. So basically, Sokovia fell on top of a city.
Basically, Sokovia fell on.
There's going to be some collateral damage.
Promepolis. Got it.
Yeah.
Until the next time I have to say it.
Yeah. Which I think it's fun that it's called Promepolis, obviously, as a nod to the Promare, which we now know are other dimensional creatures. Beings
from
of some sort.
The heart of a sun.
Yes. Or was it our Earth? Our Earth, but in a different phase.
Our Earth in a different universe is in the same place as a sun.
Yeah, and 30 years ago, it was knocked off phase, and these
parts of
Promares were starting to latch onto people.
Pushed into our world, and they bonded with each other.
Yeah, because all they want to do is burn.
Some people just want to sit and
just
want to watch whole world burn.
Winter's coming.
That's not this one.
That's not this one. Oh, okay.
It is not the answer.
But so they named their city after the Promare, but nobody fucking knew about the Promare.
The
doctor did. The doctor knew
one
about the
guy,
Promare.
But he was dead.
He was dead.
He was like, "Oh, Promare," and they shot him in the face.
Yeah, literally.
Literally.
The governor.
Shot him in the face.
The governor. Did you think... I knew we had a lot of hints that we went into this knowing the governor was going to be evil. The second we saw the governor, it's like, okay,
was your
evil.
Question, did you realize the governor was going to be evil? Yeah, the minute he walked on screen.
When his, I agree. I did too. But when his hand glowed the first time,
I didn't. Promare?
What?
That he was a burnish, rather?
Yeah, I didn't necessarily think he was
Spoilers,
a burnish.
I
thought he was, I don't know. I thought he had an ice power. But then when it showed up that he was a Promare, or a burnish, I was like, oh shit, I should have just assumed that.
Yeah. I agree.
I don't know. His powers, when they were hidden, he really hid them to seem like they weren't what the
when they first did, he loses an arm saving.
He loses an arm. No, not saving.
Not saving. Well,
Gallo.
Killing.
His arm blows up. Yeah. And he just shoots the flame, not on purpose, but shoots the flame into the apartment that Gallo lives in.
Yeah. But you're led to believe he lost his arm saving Gallo.
Because he comes out of the fire holding Gallo, the only person that he saves. And then it's deposited that he immediately is like, I can use this to my advantage.
Yes.
I could climb the political ladder at this point. Yeah. I loved the governor. I didn't put him down as a rave, and the more I'm talking about the governor, I'm loving the governor.
It's a great character.
Yeah.
You just like characters named the governor.
I do.
You do.
Yeah.
I initially thought his burnish power was that he had mech arms.
Yeah, I thought he was going to have a mech arm.
Yeah.
And
nope, just a burnish.
Somehow able to shoot ice, because the burning rescue
ice guns,
which makes sense.
Sure.
Even the police force, which I forget, Fire Force, maybe it was called.
Force.
No, that's the
Flame
name of
Force.
another anime. They had police. They were police. They had ice guns, which makes sense in this in this society. Sure. So that's a rant. What was the rant?
I don't remember.
It was awesome. They didn't use enough. They didn't use enough
of the supporting cast.
Yes. Misguiding derailment missile. By the way, what was your favorite?
Oh God,
what was my favorite move they called out? Guys, did you pick up the fact that we're calling out moves they did in this movie?
I only saw it the once. I remarked in the viewing, are they gonna something about naming things?
Yeah, well, the governor at one point when they're fighting.
After that, the governor says, "Stop naming these stupid names."
I loved when the governor called them out.
Amazing.
But the governor had names, but his names made sense because his names were for equipment. And what his equipment, my favorite one in the entire movie was the Genocide cultivation cannon. I fucking love that thing. And it made a mountain.
It did.
It like turned a city block into a mountain. Awesome.
It was appropriate named.
And at least those made sense because
and then
they were tools on his neck.
Leo Gallo.
Yeah, the Leo Gallo.
The Leo de Gallo. The robot was they out of nowhere, like in the third act, they get a robot mech thing.
I mean, the firefighters always had mechs, but this one was like huge.
Yeah, it's like a Voltron level.
Yeah, but
it looked like it kind of looked like the robot from the original Lost in Space, or like a 50s science fiction robot.
You know what I was
going to say? Helmet.
It looked like in Monsters Inc. Those guys that come in to like seal off shit, whatever that. It looked just like that,
but it had like light bars and stuff on it. And it was terrible. And then they immediately like, this looks stupid.
Yeah, and then Leo
they used the burnish power to make it look cool.
Yeah,
and they name it the Leo de Gallo, and then they change it later to the Gallo de Leo.
Yeah.
Like stupid names,
but that's because it was originally named like the Machina X or something like that.
The Ex Machina,
and Gallo is immediately like, that's a dumb name. I'm gonna call it the Leo de Gallo.
Yeah,
and Leo's like, that. What are you doing? He's like, hey, I could have named it my name first.
Yeah,
so be grateful.
I do remember that.
He's just like a larger than life anime hero. I love him. Anyway, we're ranting.
Should we transition to raves?
I don't have any other rants because I fucking loved it. Guys, can you tell if
I will just say they don't seem to understand the physics of fire.
No, but I got on board with that as soon as the Promare were introduced.
Sure.
As soon as
the Promare are introduced very late in the game.
But then it like back explains like why the Promare are able. So the Burnish are able to use the Promare that are kind of like interdimensionally latched them, to not only control fire but also give fire a physical form.
Sure,
which I thought was awesome. Like they could turn into blades or vehicles or mech armor, sure,
or motorcycles.
The vehicles got a little crazy to me because like they really did just look like vehicles,
right?
But nothing special. But like making the armor and the blades and shit, I was like awesome. Like freezing fire and just turning into like a physical. I loved it. Oh fuck, I loved it. It was so cool. It was so cool, guys.
So a rant is anything that takes you out of the world. Yeah, and I'll just say they didn't seem to understand the physics of fire. It looked cool. It was fun.
Guys, did you get that so far from this episode?
At some point, they should have
fun.
At some point, they should have explained that it wasn't actually fire.
Yeah,
that it was like some kind of interdimensional energy.
Well, they did, but it was late.
It was late,
very late,
and unclear.
Yeah, well, it was while Gallo was snoring.
Right.
Like you had to look past him.
Should we transition to raves?
Let's transition to our raves. I have no adjectives. I'm out of adjectives. Manly burning raves of
raving
lunatics.
I'll start and I'll just say, what a fantastic concept and world building. Show me something new.
Are you all in?
I'm all in. The Burnish are new and different.
Yep.
And I loved it.
I did.
What a concept. 30 years ago, people just started spontaneously combusting and burned the world down.
Yep.
Shit. And like anyone can spontaneously burst into fire at any time.
It's terrifying.
It is.
I mean,
like it was really nice to see a concept rooted in the everyday.
Yeah.
Fire is terrifying.
Yes.
And there are people who can just spontaneously burst into flames and kill us all. Oh shit.
This is not a big question. This is a little question. Where do you stand on spontaneous human combustion?
Where do I stand? Is it possible?
Are you pro spontaneous human combustion?
Pro spontaneous
no, of course,
human
yes.
combustion.
Is it possible or not?
Yeah,
do you believe it's happened?
I mean, there seem to be enough documented cases that have not been explained away.
It's so mysterious.
It really is.
I am of the camp of I don't deny that these things have happened. I'm just not convinced it's come from within the person.
I'm with you. I am. Yeah.
Yeah. Guys, we slowed it down here for you because we're getting into this.
I am along the lines of the human body acting as a conductor and receptacle for something else that it cannot contain.
Yeah.
Like electricity arcing somehow,
Sure.
etc.
Yeah.
But like just the human body, like short circuiting.
Yeah.
And
I don't buy that part.
I don't buy that.
Yeah. You think the government's doing it? The government's like,
guys,
this is
hold on.
This will be a sneaky
hold
one.
on. I'm breaking out the tinfoil.
Hats?
Hold on. I'm getting the tinfoil.
Well, you know, after this movie with the governor, I don't put anything past the government at this point. So I guess the big question is, does the government have a human combustion ray or something that they can shoot
through televisions?
Yes. Televisions.
You know, like 3 days from now, Alex Jones is going to be talking about this.
Who's Alex Jones?
He's like the InfoWars conspiracy theorist guy.
Oh, maybe he'll have us.
He's like banned from every platform. He like released his own platform so he can continue talking to people.
He's just like conspiracy theory guys.
Yeah,
I love conspiracy theories, and I don't really like subscribe to them. But like, I love watching people like explain their conspiracies.
Yes,
like there's just something to that just very entertaining.
Longtime listeners, spread this one around. The government has a spontaneous combustion ray that they're shooting at us through TVs.
Yeah.
Let's see how quickly we control Alex Jones with this.
The key is that it's coming out of TV.
It's coming out of televisions.
Yeah.
Like it's being beamed through television.
Yeah.
That's the key.
Yeah.
Or let's just see how quickly we can turn this into a theory that comes back to us.
Yeah.
How long will it take?
I mean, I think if either of us spontaneously combust, I mean, that's proof positive.
Proof positive. Yeah.
Because the government listens. Are the government long-term listeners of the podcast?
Oh, absolutely.
All right, awesome.
Like some low-level employee at the government, but yes.
Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah. They're probably listening at their desk going, oh, shit, those guys are talking about me.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I have to kill them now. Yeah. But that's awesome.
This one's for you, guy.
Yeah. But I agree. The open of the movie is like, it's like a pandemic. It's like a new plague of just people just
bursting into flame. Yeah.
And it just takes over the world.
Yeah. I don't want to steal them all, but I'll just say to piggyback onto what you just said, the beginning of the movie is beautiful. And it takes place 30 years in the past. And so they use the animation style and techniques of 30 years ago.
Yep.
And that was
smart.
Perfect. It was so smart. And it perfectly illustrated the jeopardy of that event.
It was
at the time you and I were both like, oh shit, it's gonna be 2 hours.
Well, we were like, is this gonna be the whole movie?
Yeah.
If the whole movie had been like that, it would have been a problem. But the fact that it was a choice in order to tell that part of exposition that they need to. I mean, that's how you do exposition, right?
Yes.
And that's how you use animation as part of your storytelling device.
Yes.
So it was awesome, and it was terrifying.
Very.
And it just set up the true danger of this movie, because then when you get into the color scheme and the animation of the movie itself and like these outlandish characters, goofy. Like it would be so easy to be like, well, this isn't a threat.
Right.
You know, this is just silly. But like in the back of your mind, you're always thinking like, no, a lot of people like died. Like a lot of people died. And not all spontaneously combusting. A lot of people died from the resulting fires.
The
chaos,
collapsing bridges, and cities.
And just the collapse of society. I mean, it really seemed like it crumbled away and just had to rebuild itself.
Yeah. And so impressive when they give you that first shot of Promepolis.
Oh, that first shot was beautiful.
So beautiful.
That was immediately like when I went, wow.
Yeah.
Like the exposition was cool and terrifying and all that. But when we got that opening shot of like going through Promepolis, I was like, this is a fucking movie.
Yeah.
This is a movie.
This is how you do it.
Yeah. Oh.
Well,
I'm glad we're raving now, because I've been raving all along and now it fits. All right. Well, I'll piggyback off of what you said. We're just going to keep leapfrogging off each other
probably
today. You know, you talked about how like give you something new when you're all in. So I wrote down the story of the movie and like the lore of this world. Like it was just enough that I was invested right off the bat. But you know, they used a lot of common devices. Like, okay, the burners aren't really the bad guys; they're actually the good guys.
Yeah.
And the governor's not really good; he's really bad.
Really
they used like a lot of things that you see coming. It's pretty easy to see coming. They don't win any awards for storytelling ingenuity.
Right.
And that's a rave for me because they obviously took that time then instead and resources and they pumped it into the animation.
Yes.
And it would be a rant if it just stopped there.
Yeah.
But because like it was obvious that like, okay, we're going to use all these like literary devices that you guys have already seen, these twists and turns that you guys have already seen, but that's okay because we don't really want you to focus on them. They're just getting the story from point A to point B. Yeah, drills. There was a drill in this movie.
There was a drill in this movie.
I think I audibly cheered at that point. I was like, yes! Something like that. Yeah. Guys, I'm geeking out hard on this movie. I fucking love this movie.
Well, it wasn't just that it was a drill. It was Simone's.
It was like Simone's big arm
drill. Yeah.
So great. So fucking great. But what was I saying? Something awesome.
Storytelling.
Yeah. Just storytelling. Like the storytelling was like fine. Nothing groundbreaking. It was just there to like lift up the animation. Right. It was like there is scaffolding that you could like then build your animation off of. And I love it. I
build your fire suppression system on.
Your big fucking fire depression system.
Fire depression system.
My fire depression system. That's what people get after a loved one has died from human spontaneous combustion.
Sorry for my insensitivity.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's a whole ward of those people. Fire depression systems. I don't know where the system comes in place, but it's there. You have another rave?
You know, I don't. Other than it was fucking fun.
So fun.
It was just so fun and ridiculous, and it never took itself seriously.
I mean, we walked out of the theater with like grins on our faces.
Oh, yeah.
Listen, if you're going in to this movie for like a life-changing perspective turn, no. Don't do that. No. Why would you do that? Fuck you. Don't do that. You're going to give this movie a bad rating if you do that. If you go into this movie wanting to have a fucking good time, that's how you go.
Here's how good a time I had.
Yeah.
Long-time listeners. My car was broken into.
It was.
While we were in this screening. My antique 91 Firebird. Didn't care.
We talked about that on the Knight Rider episode.
We did, yes. If you have the opportunity, drive one. It's very choice.
Yeah.
But broken into.
Yeah.
Kind of not really. They broke a bunch of stuff on it trying to get in. Didn't care. I had a good time.
Because your firefighter soul was burning.
Time. You know, it was like, you know what? Shit happens. I have insurance. I had a good time.
Yeah. It's not the end of the world. We just watched the end of the world.
We just watched the end of the world. Nobody's bursting into flames.
Yeah.
The car's still drivable.
You do this for all of our movies. You purposely bring a vehicle that matches the theme of the movie.
I do.
So
yes.
This was a Firebird.
This was a Firebird.
When we watched Galaxy Quest, you brought a lunar rover.
Yes.
That was amazing.
Hey, you know.
It just top notch.
The GoCo garage is pretty well stocked at this point. It is.
Yeah.
What will I bring to the next showing? I mean,
you'll have to tune in.
You'll have to tune in and find out.
It could be another segment. What did Shades come here?
What did Shades drive to the movie in?
To go off of what you said, where it's just fun. This movie knew exactly what it was.
Yes.
This movie had no delusions of grandeur beyond like giving us this amazing animation. It was, and it leaned into exactly what it was too, because it was fast moving and it was energetic and it was silly and it was ridiculous.
It was chaotic.
Yeah.
And just so frenetic.
Yeah.
And that's the tone and the visual style.
Yeah.
Just complemented each other so well.
You know, the tone of this movie really felt like a wildfire.
Yeah.
Like once it caught, it just
it really matched with the theme of fire.
Yeah. So again, like the pace of this movie, once again, reiterating the themes.
Yes.
As we know.
Yes.
Of fire.
Fire.
Well, I've said it so many times, multiple times, that I'm just going to officially rave about it right now. The animation. Yeah. I have to talk about the animation. It was beautiful. As sketch. It was just a gorgeous movie to watch. I have 3 areas in which I want to talk about the animation.
Okay.
I can't just say the animation. You guys expect more from me. I'm a professional. And I'm the professional named Sketch, so I gotta.
You gotta.
I will start with the one that you said to me right after the movie. Did you hate that? The color palette.
The color palette.
I liked the color palette of this.
Wow, it was a very 1980s color palette.
It was. And
lots of magentas and
like cyans
and like bright yellows that nobody wants to look at.
It was very
like the color of mustard yellow, and not like the fun mustard that everybody loves, Dijon mustard. Like,
what are you saying? Dijon mustard is what mustard everyone loves?
Oh yeah,
or French's.
Yeah, this was like the bright yellow mustard that's like barely mustard.
Yeah. Okay, guys, picture a wax paper cup. You picturing it? Because we're all picturing the same fucking one.
Yep.
With the blue and the purple
squiggle.
Yep. It was those colors.
It was those colors.
It was those colors. Imagine like the title card to Saved by the Bell.
Wow.
It was those colors.
Yes, it was those colors.
And I don't like those colors.
No, it was like a Van Halen guitar.
Yeah.
Like yellow and black.
Yeah.
And magenta colors.
But again, it matched thematically for this movie because
somehow.
When we discover that like everything's out of phase and the colors are just
ever so slightly,
they're slightly not real world. Well, they're more than slightly not real world, but they're still colors. They're still human
30
colors
years ago
that
they
we
were.
recognize. Yeah, and those colors didn't exist in that previous expedition.
No,
I mean, it was another hint, another clue at this knock off of phase. And once the Burnish are returned to their dimension and the world kind of comes back, you saw some of those colors returning, some of our real life colors returning.
Yes.
The world was greener again and had earth tone to it. Fucking loved it. What a smart decision. The other animation thing I'll say is the mech fights. Like the mech fight between the Galileo and the whatever the other one was named. The one that had the
bridge
genocide.
Of the ship.
Yeah. The governor's. It was the governor's mech. That
genocide
battle
cannon
for a very long time will be my standard of mech battles.
It was good.
It was
better than anything in Evangelion or Gurren Lagann.
Oh yeah. I mean, thank God for those because they've led us to this point.
They've upped the game.
But we're not sitting on our laurels and just Studio Trigger isn't just like, yeah, we know how to do mech battles.
Right.
We never have to improve them. No, they fucking improved them.
Yeah.
I mean, this was like a choreographed dance between the two mechs. A lot of times we're used to seeing like one mech does a move and then we flash and we see the other mech getting hit by said move. This almost always had both mechs in frame, moving around each other. Every action had a reaction. It was awesome.
It makes for great audio, but I'm nodding in agreement.
He is nodding in agreement, and I'm frantically waving my hands around.
It's great audio.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe there's a YouTube clip of it. The movie's so new.
We'll have to check.
Find the YouTube clip of this.
We'll find it.
Come over to my house and just watch the movie. Bring your Sequest blueprint.
That's the price of admission.
That's the price of admission. The last thing I'll say about the animation.
That was like episode 5. What are you waiting for?
It really, I mean, can you tell I'm still bothered by it? That I haven't gotten one yet?
That was 40. It was like
40-something episodes.
6 episodes ago.
No, it's got to be 50 episodes away.
50 episodes ago. Wow.
Because this will be episode 53?
3?
Yeah, 53.
Wow.
Wow, guys, and if this isn't 53, don't write in. Okay, I made a mistake. Jesus.
They don't always come out in the order we record in.
Calm down. The last thing I'll say about the animation. Put your pants
back on and calm down.
Yeah. You know what? You want to keep your pants off?
Just calm down.
Well, however you want to listen. The last thing I'll say about the animation, the way they did fire. Because when I first saw fire in the trailers, I was like, yeah, okay, that's fine. And I was on board for the movie, but then we watched that Q&A and they were talking about the way they did fire in this movie because it's not your generic
fire.
It's very geometric, very shape-based fire.
Yes.
Unusual colors, as you would expect from the color palette I was talking about. But when they were talking about how we didn't really want it to look like fire in a still, but when you saw it animated, you'd go, That's
That's fire.
And when he said that, like, it all clicked to me, and that's when it became a rave.
Yeah.
That's when it turned
true
from
to
just
form,
like something cool
it
to
doesn't look
a
like
real
fire
rave.
at all.
No, it
but
doesn't.
it moves like fire.
It moves like fire. If you saw just a still of this movie with Leo doing something with fire, you would think he has you'd almost think he has some
Like,
sort of like computer virusy kind of
Yeah, or I was gonna say,
power.
do you remember those blocks that they used to give us in like grade school to like count? It was like you could make real world bar graphs, something.
Oh
They
yeah.
kinda looked like
Yeah,
that.
your ones, your tens, and your hundreds.
Yes.
Yeah. Guys, did you think we were going to bring it back to your ones, your tens, and your hundreds? But it was very fragmented.
Yes.
A lot of triangles, lots of squares, a lot of rectangles, and you look at a still, you're
Not
like,
fire.
kind of looked like in Suicide Squad, that power that came out of the Enchantress.
Oh yeah.
Kind of looked a little bit like
did.
that.
Do you think we were gonna bring it back to Suicide Squad? I didn't.
But here we are.
Here we are.
Here we are. Guys, we're all over the place.
Reboot coming soon.
We're Studio Trigger
We-
of
the podcasting universe.
But I mean, that just cemented to me that, like, all right, these guys know how to fucking animate. It's not just a bunch of moving pictures. It's greater than its whole. It is the way
I don't even know how to
interact.
explain it, as like even saying animation as a storytelling device doesn't really do it justice.
No, it's animation as an art. It truly is.
Yeah.
It's animation as an art form. It is understanding animation as the media it is. It is all about motion and capturing and depicting motion. And how can we elevate that to an art form? We'll take it to a place where if you saw it still, it wouldn't make sense.
It wouldn't make sense, yeah.
But when you see it in motion, then it all clicks
It
together.
all comes alive and clicks together.
Guys, that's a ballsy move.
It is.
That's a ballsy move. Because first thing we normally see are stills. And, they took it. They ran with it.
They did.
And it was fucking awesome. That's my line of this episode. Fucking awesome. I loved this movie. Have I said that enough?
You have. You've said it.
Chits, do you have any burning big questions for Promare?
Yeah. Okay. So
lay it on.
I have a couple big questions.
I'll give you some big A's if I can.
The turn of the movie.
Yeah. Which turn?
The
big reveal.
The big reveal. The mech turn.
The mech turn.
Like the big.
Yep.
When the turn abandoned the world building.
Sure.
Yeah. Up until that point, and it really, the whole premise becomes a mech showdown at that point. They even went so far as to not just have a mech fight, but a like a special move battle.
Yeah. Like we are.
Like, sure.
In this pizza place.
Yeah.
We're just standing up on our checkered tablecloths, shouting out. Yep.
Did it? We loved the movie.
Loved it.
Did it work?
Did for me.
What about it worked for you?
What about it worked
for me too, but
yeah.
I recognize that it was, they crossed the line. And usually when you cross the line, like, this is what happened. Great example, Made in Abyss. They radically changed. There's always a turn in an anime.
Always.
Sometimes the turn fundamentally alters the premise of the world that they've constructed up until that point. I usually check out at that point. I'm like, no, because world building is a very important
as it is for me as well
component. I'm usually like, oh, you broke your own rules, I'm out.
Yep.
They broke their rules. I stayed in. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And it worked. I don't know why it worked. Why do you think it worked?
Well, let me ask a clarifying question. What rules did they break?
So the rules of this world were that there were the Burnish.
Yeah.
They spontaneously combusted. Nobody knew why.
Except for that doctor. But he was killed for that.
Yeah. And it was the burning rescue that protected the populace.
Yeah.
And that was their role. And when we get to the mech battle, not only do we now know why, but it's all being orchestrated.
Yes.
And burning rescue has no role to play in this.
Mhm.
If left to our own devices, the world would have ended. If
Yep.
not for the interjection of this AI version of a doctor who was shot in the face,
Mhm.
we all die.
Completely coincidentally.
Yes.
Why did you pick us?
Well,
You landed here.
You landed here.
What if we didn't?
Yeah.
Then we would have all
We
died.
all died. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Why do you think it worked?
Why did it work? Okay. I think it worked because the world building, I would argue, stopped but wasn't destroyed. So we didn't so much break any of the rules we established. We just made a couple new ones. Like, the Burnish can, what they've been doing all along have been making physical fire. The governor is this larger than life, blonde haired, basically idiot who is doing this all in ignorance and doesn't understand that, like, we have to do everything it takes to stop him, because if we don't, it's not that he wins, it's that the world is destroyed. For me, it was an unusual progression, but still felt natural. And that's really weird to say in this movie. But like, when it came to the point where it was, they're going to leave, and in doing so, because he doesn't know the whole story, it's going to destroy the world, I was on board. I was like, okay, yeah, I get that. And then, it does turn into a big mech battle, but it worked for me because, like, it made sense why the governor had a mech to terraform the new world. And it made sense why the doctor, like, made one, because he was aware of what the governor was doing. And then this larger than life hero and this, like, bad guy turned good guy who's never really a bad guy. Just happened to be the two.
To land.
And, a lot of it was coincidence. I mean, a lot of this movie was just coincidence.
Right.
This whole problem in the first place.
Was it coincidence? Because it was a dual powered.
It needed a burnish to power it, and
it
needed a human to pilot it.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, because I guess the doctor was the one that developed the technology to use the burnish's power.
Developed it for him and the governor to use.
Maybe it was like the prototype of the mech. I don't know.
I don't know.
But what I'm saying about the coincidence, like, this whole thing was set in place by a coincidence. The fact that the other dimension was knocked over, and like, it started this whole thing. So it was like a series of coincidences, which I'm like totally fine with.
Okay.
There was never fate.
Right.
In this,
there's no chosen one.
There's no chosen one. There's no destined.
Right.
It was just like right place, right time, wrong place, wrong time.
Right.
I was on board.
Cool.
I was fine to latch my wagon onto that. Latch my wagon on? Hitch up to that wagon? Fire truck? A lot of fire trucks. A lot of we're talking about. Now that I think about that, guys, we'll get there.
Didn't have a ladder, but it had a giant ass cannon.
Yeah, you don't need a ladder when you shoot your firemen out of a cannon, like clowns.
Yeah.
I mean, and again, I've said it with everything.
That was the motif.
Loved that.
He was a clown being shot out of a cannon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even the other two.
Yeah.
That got fired out of the cannon. It was awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, could you just imagine in real life for a moment, like, if a firefighter showed up on the scene and, like, that's how they got to the 4th floor, was just like, all right, boom, right through the window. It's hilarious. All right.
And just keep shooting them in until the fire's out.
Yeah. You just keep shooting firefighters into the burning building. That's how it works. Slice of life. This is slice of life.
Slice of life. You get a BQ that I could.
I wonder if that's when he figured out it wasn't slice of life, or if he kept going a little bit longer than that. I was like, wait, I don't know enough about firefighters to know if this isn't based on reality. Okay. Why were the first burnished triggered by being, like, driven too far? Because they're very clear to show that each of the first people who spontaneously combusted were, like, They're like
High-stress
just pushed a little
jobs,
too far. High-stress
yeah.
jobs, abusive relationships, traffic.
Yep.
And like I can make my own assumptions about like having a temper and like quote
Right.
blowing
up.
Okay, but then later that doesn't seem to matter. Like, was there a connection between the Promare being pulled towards like these emotionally charged
Right.
people? My big question is just that, like a hypothesis, I
Yeah.
guess.
I don't know if it's the one you're looking for, but
okay.
I think it has to do with how long it was in development, how the world seemingly changed, and the story that they wanted to tell in that moment. I think what we saw at the beginning of that were animatics for the pitch.
Yep.
And I think had this movie moved through production a little bit more quickly, we probably would have gotten a different movie than the one we wound up with.
And it certainly helped tell the story of like the red herring that like the Burnished aren't that bad.
Yes.
Because we saw these first Burnished and they're not that they're bad. They were just like pushed to the point where they literally blew up.
Yes.
And then they were no longer in control. They lost all control. Which I'm sure there's a message there somewhere.
Yeah.
But I'm not one to find it. Not in this movie.
Sure.
But all right. So the secondary big question.
So just to summarize that, their real world and the fake world that they wanted to bring awareness to, that they were to use as a
catalyst.
Heightened storytelling device, a catalyst, changed.
Okay. Here's my follow-up big question.
Sure.
The Burnished that we meet are in our timeline of the movie now.
Yes.
30 years later. They are very chill.
Yes.
And very calm.
They all seem to be in control of their power.
Is that a defense mechanism that they've come up with? Oh, we have to be chill and calm because if not, we could go out of control. Or flip of that, is it now just very random who the Promare attached to because all of these like triggered people have burned alive? Like, do you think they've learned to like slow down?
Our in-world storytelling device, yes.
Yeah.
Our production storytelling adjustment, no.
Okay.
I think it really was. I think when they came up with the idea, the villain of the story were the Burnish.
Yeah.
That they were, people living on the edge.
Yeah.
And then they're not people living on the edge. They're the chef at the pizzeria. They're they are
chef.
They are members of Burning Rescue. I'm pretty sure one of the members of Burning Rescue was a Burnish.
He had superhuman strength, so he was like different somehow. But I guess he was.
I thought they established that he was a Burnish because at one point he says to the governor, like, he says to Leo, like, I used my power for.
Yeah, I'll have to rewatch it, and I'm going to.
Yeah, I'm sure you are. So I think it was a conscious decision to make them be someone that you weren't rooting for to someone that you were.
Yeah, for sure. Well, when I first saw the trailer for this, because there was no spoken word in it, I thought Leo was a girl.
I also thought Leo.
And I was flat out
designed to be
disappointed when I found out it was a guy, only because we've always had this in all of them, like this same gendered hero to villain.
Yes.
Which is fine. I mean, it's in everything, Western and Asian media, but it segments the sexes. And I was
identified male fights identified male,
exactly.
Identified female fights identified female, identified like non-binary robot fights non-binary.
Like has to fight like always.
Yeah.
And normally I wouldn't think twice about it, but I got like excited when I saw the trailer and I was like, oh, all right, it's going to be like guy versus girl. And
people are still very
equal playing field and everything.
Yeah.
And then when it was a guy, I was like, oh, that took away some of that shine.
Not so
for me.
brave.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that being said,
I don't know if brave's the right word of like, it's still like the kind of the most unacceptable thing we can do in our media and society is for like a guy to hit a woman.
Yeah.
It's like, or like for a female villain to win, or
and there
like,
was
or
and now having
as you
seen the
said.
movie, there's no reason Leo couldn't be a female, because they fight in mech suits, which to my knowledge, totally fine.
I mean, he identifies himself that way as male in the film, and eventually he does lose his shirt.
He does.
I mean, I don't want to read too much into it as like, what's there. I'm going to take it as face value and just say that Leo was a dude.
Yeah, I agree. And they obviously hired a male voice actor.
We haven't seen the subs.
That's true. That is true.
It's the great Frieza debate. Was Frieza in Dragon Ball male or female?
Only kiss we got in this movie was between Leo and Gallo, although it wasn't a kiss. It was a
CPR.
Resuscitation.
Resuscitation. Yeah.
I loved that he used his rescue, like more than anything, he used his rescue skills to save the world.
I believe that's like your thing. I believe that was your big rave in Mario Brothers, that they actually
use
plumbing.
Yes.
Yeah, that's your thing.
If you're going to establish a character as a whatever,
I think that's great. Yeah.
Use it. Have that show up again. Yeah, in Mario, they plumbed.
Yep.
Do you plumb? Is that the
I don't think so,
verb?
but sure. I think plumbing.
Yeah.
Like you use your plumbing
and
prowess.
A plumber plums.
Sure.
Yeah, and a rescuer uses his rescue skills. He used resuscitation.
The math checks out.
And he used, like, even at the very end of the movie, like when the burnish they had to burn. They had to burn the world.
Everything.
But because he was connected to Leo and could kind of control them, his desire to rescue everyone in the world.
Yep.
They still got to burn, but protect everybody.
Right.
I love it.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it wasn't
everyone got what they wanted.
It wasn't a big smackdown, although there were a lot of big smackdowns.
There were a lot of big smackdowns.
End of the day, he won by rescue.
True statement.
Guys, I fucking love this movie. Any more big questions? I have one last big question.
It's kind of a throwaway, but I'll ask it. Did the burning rescue ever use fire suppressant to put out fires, or only like punching it? I know they used the ice guns to attack the burnish.
Yeah.
Did they ever use fire suppressant to put out fire?
Yes, that guy with the glasses, the most underdeveloped of the entire team.
Yes, okay.
His mech specifically shot ice fire suppressant.
Sure.
And when they first show up on scene, he's just putting out the fires.
That is correct.
Yep.
Thank you. Good answer.
I love giving you a good A for your BQs.
You do.
My last big question. Have you guys, longtime listeners, have you noticed that throughout this entire episode, whether we've been doing raves, rants, or big questions, I've always been raving. I've just raved all along. And this big question is another rave. I loved that in their perfectly anime way, they depicted that like rivalry between police and fire. And like, the police were
got jurisdiction. No, we've got jurisdiction.
The police were such dicks in this movie. Mainly the big main police guy.
Who turned out to be a little police guy.
He turned out to be a little police guy, which is pretty funny. That was an unnecessary but totally hilarious reveal.
I loved that he said his name over and over and over, and that he was...
And he's basically like, when you watch Teen Titans Go, Cyborg's head will like come off and walk on wires. Yep. He's basically that.
Yeah.
And he's like the biggest guy in the entire... Love it.
It's a mech suit.
So I loved that they still had this rivalry between the police
and the chief and Vulcan.
Yeah. But in a world where spontaneous human combustion is such a problem.
Yes.
And like everything's burning down. Like they made the connection a lot of times that like, the fire department really doesn't have the power. They don't have the funding. Like they have funding, but they don't have like the resources.
They don't have the resource
the police
the police have. Yeah. That seems like
should the firefighters get a little more respect than that? Like real world firefighters deserve our respect. 100% without a doubt. The moment fire becomes like sentient and goes on the attack, like firefighters deserve like 100% more respect.
Right.
So that
is there a question here?
Yeah, the question is, how do you justify like shitting all over the firefighters? I loved the chief though.
It was
I think
great.
his name was Ignis, something like that.
Ignis.
With his glasses and his big mustache.
And I loved that his firefighting vehicle was just like
it's just a Firebird, basically.
It was basically Kit. It was basically my Firebird.
Yeah, and all he did was like ride in it.
All he did was drive around in it. It didn't turn into anything. No. He was just like a burly guy with sunglasses and a mustache, and he drove around in a Firebird.
He was like the most American out of everyone.
Oh my God,
like, he was. And a lot of times you'll see an American not depicted fine, which, I get it.
He had a mustache, sunglasses, and a T-top.
He was like a cool American.
Yeah.
Which I wasn't going to ask this big question, but it kind of leads into that. Do you think Promepolis is kind of the last bastion of human life? Like,
yes.
Is it what's left after the world is burned?
Yes.
So then it makes sense why it's like so multicultural. It's like all the survivors. Because the nice thing about being set 30 years in the future is that people have been born into this world, but you still have people
who remember the old world
around. And timeline checks out that the chief would have been a child or a young adult when the world burned.
Yes.
You get why he's
doing what he's doing.
Yeah. Just being a badass. Driving around
in his T-top.
T-top Firebird.
Sunglasses.
Launching fellow fighters into
the cannon.
into burning buildings.
Oh my God. I mean, I just hope we arrive at a day when we fire each other out of cannons.
I think we're getting there.
I mean,
we've given up on flying cars, and I think that's what we're going to now is just cannons.
I mean, it's the next logical progression.
Like you take a cannon to work, like you just go down the old cannon stop. You get into it.
Do you remember? Do you remember the Tick series?
Yeah. The animated or
the animated?
Yeah,
the animated with the bullet. The human bullet. I think his name was.
Yes.
Fire me, boy.
Yes. Yeah. That's what we're going to. 2019.
Oh man.
We couldn't get flying cars, but we can have cannons.
We can get fired.
Human firing cannons. Guys, that's Promare.
That is Promare.
Those are our thoughts on Promare.
We fucking loved it.
We fucking loved it. I knew I was going to love it. I loved it even more than I thought I was going to love it. Did you even know what you were going into?
I had no idea what I was walking into.
Yeah.
None.
Yeah.
Pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, and it slaps you.
It does.
It doesn't subtly bring you into its world.
No. It just combusts spontaneously.
It really does. It really is like a wildfire.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sketch.
Do you think the government's behind human spontaneous combustion? That's the big question, guys. That's the secret big question.
You heard it here first.
You heard it here first.
We're not saying it is.
We're not saying it is.
We are asking the question.
We're posing the question.
Yeah.
Think about it, guys. Use your minds. Don't believe what the media tells you.
Is the government firing spontaneous combustion rays out of televisions? We're not saying they are.
We're not saying they are. But we're not saying they're not. Who knows? The governor was the bad guy.
The governor was the bad guy.
Yep.
He has govern in his name.
It's all interconnected. What was his last name? It was Hindsight. Wasn't it like Hindsight?
No, it was
something. It was Foresight.
Foresight.
What the fuck? But I'm fine with it. Everyone else had like super anime names.
Yep.
And he's just like Governor Foresight.
He had a first name too.
He did have a first name.
Can't remember. He had a legit name.
Yeah, he did. But it
was inconsequential.
Yeah, don't need it.
I think that brings us to
Shades and Sketch Recommendations. Shades, do you have something? Oh, do you not have a recommendation?
I didn't write one down, but I've watched plenty of things recently.
Okay. So there you go. Shades is recommending plenty of things.
Do you want to go first? And
I will. I had something else that I was going to recommend because it's somewhat related, but I'm going to say that for a future episode. So tune into that one later, guys. So I'm going to recommend the anime that I am like gaga over right now. I'm just watching it like crazy. It's called Demon Slayer, and it's totally awesome. I thought just by its name, I thought it was going to be like very generic, like just one of those generic hack and slash shows. But I was just I kept seeing like little clips online of like just some of the fights and the animation sequences, and it was so beautiful. I had to give it a shot. So Demon Slayer is the story of a young boy living in like a feudal Japan-esque anime world. It's not, set to real life, but it's of about that time period. And he one day returns home from errands, and his entire family has been slaughtered by demons. And the only one still clinging to life is his sister. And he races to save her life. But once her life is no longer in jeopardy, it becomes clear that she has been infected by the demons and has become a demon herself. However, she is fighting everything in her willpower to keep the demon side at bay, and it turns into a story of mainly his journey, because she's pretty silent these days, but their sibling relationship and him doing everything he can to find the way to reverse her turning into a demon, and that leads him on the path of joining a group of swordsmen called the Demon Slayers, to find basically the cure. And the story's good. The relationships between characters are great, but where it truly shines is the animation. The only thing I'll say about the animation without giving too much away is that different characters, of course, because this anime have different powers and like draw upon different elements, and his is water. And so when his kind of water manifests, it is animated in a way that is not even reminiscent. It is like just a copy of the Japanese print that everyone knows, the Great Wave. And it's that style.
Wow.
So it's normal anime, but then whenever his power comes out, it's water in that style.
That's cool.
And that's what grabbed
Seals it
me,
for you.
and it's really fucking awesome. So Demon Slayer, it's on
Cool.
Crunchyroll.
Nice. I am also going to recommend an anime that I recently watched. It's called Kabaneri. Are you familiar with it?
No, I am not.
It is one season broken up into 3 parts, more on the way. And it is a world in which we're not sure why, we're not sure what happened, but the population has been overrun by zombie-esque creatures. They're not zombies, but they're kind of like a hybrid between a Romero-styled zombie horde and vampires.
Okay.
Think the lowest form of the vampires in Castlevania animated series.
Okay.
There's kind of like mindless horde, and they've kind of overrun this feudal Japan hybrid steampunk world.
Ooh.
So set steampunk on top of feudal Japan.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, there are trains. All of their projectile weapons are steam powered. It's kind of like if you could take the worlds of Inuyasha, High School of the Dead, and Full Metal Alchemist and mash them all together.
I like this.
And it's a great tale of
that's a great way to describe it to get people to watch, because like now I really want to watch.
Yeah. And so the Kabane are this like zombie horde who have overrun the earth, and if they bite you, you become one of them. But certain members of the population only partially devolve, and they are the Kabaneri.
Okay.
So they still retain their humanity, but they have the otherworldly strength and abilities of the Kabane.
Okay.
And they are protecting humanity.
All right.
And all of the different feudal feudal lords have kind of retreated from their traditional areas of Japan inside of fortresses, and the only way between them is by armored train.
That's cool.
And so the Kabaneri protect the trains as they travel to
very interested in this
stronghold to stronghold.
Now,
and there's a beautiful
turn into mechs.
Nobody turns into mechs.
Okay.
No mechs. And so they're woven inside of that is this beautiful tale of these 2 Kabaneri who and the Kabaneri are not treated particularly well. who are trying to retain their humanity, their relationship, and also find a way to give back, get back their humanity.
Yeah.
And it's 3 parts. They're 26 minutes apiece, and it's a fun little. It's not by any means
So each
the
part
most-
is 26 minutes?
Each part's 26
That's
minutes. 3
totally
episodes.
digestible.
Yeah, and it's just show me something new, and I'm in.
Where can you find that?
Netflix. It's a Netflix series.
Sweet.
Yeah.
They're very related this time our recommendations because the way you describe these, what are they called?
Kabaneri.
Very much like the sister in this show that I recommended, Demon Slayer, in that she's been infected and she's turning into a demon, but she's been saved early enough that she still has her humanity and wants to fight for humanity.
Yeah, it's very much a similar premise.
Yeah.
And similarly, I will just say the animation is beautiful.
We're really lucky to be alive when we're alive. Animation right now.
It is, in so many ways, there has never been a better time to be alive. And I know it seems like everything's burning down around us.
Yep.
But like,
because literally it is. This pizza place.
It is. I mean, everything is literally on fire.
We should not be in here.
We should not. But God, I mean, the pizza's going to be worth it.
That's what I hear.
Just in pretty much all areas of life, there's just never been a better time than right now. If you look back on the 2,000 years of human history.
Yeah. What's nice about animation right now is that
it's so damn good.
It's so damn good, and
there's
what's
so many
happening,
different.
There's so many different styles, and this
out
is
there.
exactly. I mean, if you studied art history and art movements, I mean, animation right now really seems to be following the same path that traditional visual art did. In that, it was a pretty linear path until the
3-point perspective.
Well, I was going to say until the advent of the camera, and then now you have technology able to, depict real life effortlessly, basically. Right. And that doesn't destroy art. That just gives art the freedom to now, okay, we don't need to be photorealistic anymore. Right. Let's explore and let's see what else we can do. I feel like the same thing is now happening to animation, where computer animation has gotten so good that you can really make a photorealistic animated piece.
Yeah.
And so because you can do that, we no longer need to aim towards that anymore. And
That's
so now
fair.
we can just branch out and just do some really cool stuff.
For a long time, I know what you mean. For a long time, was how realistic can we make animation?
Yep.
It's like, we can make someone who's dead appear before your eyes. Okay, we don't have to do that anymore.
Yeah.
Let's have fun.
Exactly. And it's just, that's what I mean when
Promare.
I say, this is a great time to be, taking in animation, because we're on the frontier of, let's just see what we can do.
Yeah, absolutely.
Guys, did you expect us to, end on such a positive, hopeful, appreciative note? I mean, that's us. That's us in a nutshell.
It really is.
Yeah. Promare just brings it out in us. That's our burning soul of the firefighters. My soul only burns when I pee. I need to see a doctor about that.
You should see someone about that, Sketch.
Yeah. Yeah. But it's gonna save the day.
I mean, you really should.
Yeah. So guys, thanks for joining us for our Promare episode. Highly recommend it. If you haven't seen it, listen to the episode. Still recommend it, because we can't. we gave away some plot points, but we can't do the animation justice. So
if you haven't seen it, listen to the episode. Yeah, I mean, do it.
Yeah, do it. So let's see, Shades. Where can the good longtime listeners reach us?
Well, you can always email us at gowithshadesansketch@gmail.com.
Yep. You can find us on Facebook by searching Geeking Out with Shades and Sketch.
You can tweet at us at gowithshadesansketch, or if you want to talk to Sketch directly, you can tweet him at go4sketch.
And if you want to talk to Shades directly, you can tweet him at go4shades.
You can always visit us
on our Patreon
page, patreon.com/shade.
Geeking Out?
No, Shades and Sketch.
Shades and Sketch, guys.
Yep.
Shades and Sketch. And we've been putting some polls out on our Patreon for upcoming episodes. little bonus audio goodies and so on and so forth. So if you are so inclined, check us out over there on Patreon. And I guess with that, Shades, you taking anything from Promare?
Sketch.
Yeah.
I'm taking this fire truck that fires people out of a cannon.
Yeah. That is going to be a good.
It's going to be that is going to be a great summertime party.
Yeah. Bring
rental.
it up to like a lake.
Yeah.
Just like fire people into the lake.
All day.
If you lowered the trajectory, you could skip them like stones.
Oh my
to the other
goodness.
shore.
I cannot wait to try that.
It's also large enough that I bet you could put the rest of your garage fire your vehicles.
I am very excited to see if the Incredicar will fit inside.
It's very similar to me. I'm visualizing right now the cargo transport from Zoid's Century Zero and just launching Zoids,
get in the car,
catapulting them,
get in the cannon, fire myself out of it, and just pull a Super Dave Osborne.
Nothing could go wrong.
Nothing. Good times.
Yeah.
Sketch, you gonna take anything?
I am gonna take this ice shooting mech because I'm a sucker for ice powers.
You are.
And it was underutilized.
It was.
And I think I can really,
put it to
I don't
use.
have a garage, but like a mech doesn't have to be in a garage.
I'll loan you some space in the workshop.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Because this thing is fucking sweet.
It is.
And it makes perfect cubes. Perfect ice cubes. Not the 90s wrapper.
No.
Although that'd be something.
It would.
If there was a setting.
For Ice Cube?
For Ice Cube. It creates Ice Cube. The wrapper.
Sure.
Yeah. What if Ice Cube piloted the Ice Cube mech? Hollywood, get on it.
Box office gold.
Box office gold.
All right. I think that does it for us.
Yeah.
We will see you next time.
See you next time.